moron! Hey, moron! Dude! Look at me! I'm the waterboard, dude!
Well, good morning, good people. Mark Holmes here, of course, my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Let's get open for business here and let's wake up the football gods this morning. We will be doing our members live stream today, 5 o'clock. I'm going to try and see how well we can do with that. Today is my mother's birthday, so I'm going to go over and spend some time with her and things, and we'll be back here and start trying to get things put back together. Yesterday was a great day. Got to the autograph signing show, seeing not only some of our players and things, meeting Schoonmaker and stuff, seeing Zach Martin and basically telling him, I'll see you at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Micah Parsons, as well as Danny White, and just having a really good time because seeing a lot of you guys, fans and other Cowboy fans that have been around for, many of these years in autograph signings. It's always great to be amongst friends. We have a bit of a controversy that's kind of brewing right now because of Micah Parsons, of course. Micah Parsons, who doesn't have his deal just yet. He seemed to be like nothing was fazing him. He seemed in great spirits and a great mood yesterday and thoroughly enjoyed hanging out with them. Now, the controversy is out there is Shedeur ended up having his pro day. And it's apparent that Tennessee has canceled having their pro day with Travis Hunter, as well as with visits with Travis Hunter as well as Shedeur Sanders. So it looks like Cam Ward is pretty much penciled in as the number one pick. We'll see what the Giants do. Do they go for the quarterback, or do they go for the multifaceted tool in Travis Hunter? But yesterday during the pro workouts, what everybody has been talking about with Shedeur is that he has a tendency to pat the football before he gets ready to release it. So it kind of gives you a little bit of a tick as to how soon he's going to release. And see, this is where Jalen Daniels has lost the advantage that he had last year because, rookie comes out, they start playing, there's not much game film on him in the system. You had new coaches and everything else. Right now, what's happening with the NFL is the NFL, they have so many resources and such big staff that they are literally combing through every single play that you do to find out your tendencies of things that you do to help get a jump on reading the plays. And if it is true that, he does pat that football, that kind of gives the defender, if he's looking back there or able to look back there and sees that pat, that ball's about to be delivered, and it gives you a chance to try and jump on the route. That's what everybody's saying. Now, here's where Micah Parsons gets into it, because you got Darius Slayton, New York Giant wide receiver, going through, and he says Tom Brady, literally the king of getting the ball out fast, patted the ball when he threw. So actually, no patting the ball is not the difference. That's what Darius Slayton, he's like, Tom Brady patted the ball all the time. And here's where Micah Parsons kind of gets into it with Darius Slayton. Comparing those great quarterbacks ever to Shedeur is why I'll never entertain a football conversation with you. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? And I have to kind of agree on that one. Slayton, Shedeur Sanders hasn't even been drafted, and you are comparing him to Tom Brady. And it's funny because New York Giant fans got pissed off when I pointed out that Micah Parsons, as a rookie, was doing some things similar to Lawrence Taylor. At least he'd been on the field. At least he had double-digit sacks, and they literally lost their damn mind. It's crazy. It's crazy. But I do want to go ahead because and play a little bit of the interview from Shedeur Sanders after the workout and stuff. Some people think that Shedeur could drop to the Dallas Cowboys. I don't think that he could, but you have to be prepared and know everything about everybody.
Great to be joined by Shedeur Sanders about an hour after you wrapped up your throwing session. How'd you feel like it went out there today?
I feel like it went pretty good. I feel like we missed a couple. You know, we wish we'd have got back, but for the most part, I think it was the best one yet.
Shedeur, during this whole pre-draft run-up, what has been the thing that you have really wanted to accomplish? Look, you're not playing any games. Your tape is already out there.
Yeah.
So what you do here today kind of, for me, is kind of inconsequential, right? It don't really mean that much. I know how you can play. What have you wanted to accomplish over the past couple of weeks, past couple of months as we head on into the draft?
I would say definitely it is getting closer with God, you know. That's what I'll say is the most thing, because you gotta understand people come at you every different ways. You know, the devil try to attack what's going on different ways. I know I'm one of God's favorites, so I know just getting that relationship, staying close to him throughout all this, it just helped me get through everything.
Specific to the decision to throw today, you know, as Lewis said, a lot of tape on you out there already, and some quarterbacks opt not to throw during the pre-draft process. What kind of pushed you in the direction to make sure that you threw today here at your showcase?
Well, I would say it would be kind of selfish of me to not be out there with my receivers. That was the main plan. Will didn't get invited to the combine, and I know he was better than a lot of guys out there. So it was kind of like, and my brother also, he didn't get drafted, and a couple of my other teammates. So it was kind of just one of those things to where I want everybody to come here. I want all the teams to be able to be here, for them to get the shine and for them to get an opportunity in front of everybody.
You know, I talked to your dad a lot about the kind of things that would help you be successful at the next level, right? So when you're going through this process, as much as they're interviewing you, you can interview them about what are they going to structure around you.
I definitely know that.
Exactly.
I definitely know that.
So tell
That's
us.
why they love me, they hate me. You know, one day they love me, one day they hate me.
No question. So
It
I'll
is
tell you what, make them love you here. Tell them what does Shedeur Sanders need? What do you hope to get out of the NFL to help you reach your maximum potential as fast as possible?
All I need is opportunity. Simple. Whatever franchise want to change their franchise, and there's no doubt who to go with. I've done it over and over and over, so you'll be a fool not to pick me.
And Lewis mentioned again how it's them interviewing you and you interviewing them. But as far when they're interviewing you, if you're making the pitch as to why Shedeur Sanders should be the next quarterback of insert team here, what are some of the strengths of your game that you feel like you highlight when you're talking to these teams?
Let me ask you a question. What's the most important trait of a quarterback?
I'd say decision making and accuracy, winning.
Consistency.
That works too.
Look at the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking
That's
for
how I
yourself,
know
right?
I'm the best quarterback in the draft. So
The consistency of
yeah,
your
I
decision-making
truly
and
can.
accuracy.
So
it makes sense.
With checks off
That's true.
boxes.
Yeah, I got
At
you.
least the one guy, but you know I'm a Sanders. They can't put me through. I'm a Sanders. They can't.
You last played a game December 28th. It's been a long time. It's a long draft process. How have you handled probably some of the mental rigors that go along with it, right? People talking about you maybe going to this team, maybe going to that time. Your stock is, one day it's high, one day it's lower. How do you sort of handle all that comes along with this process?
Well, I'll say I have a great team. I have great support around me, and I know what the business is, and I know what it's about. So I don't really pay attention to the media and everything, because I have a great mentor, which is my dad, that's able to tell me, this is just a part of what it is. So I truly don't care when I come out here and throw. I don't care who's there. I don't care who's not there. I'm out here focused on completing footballs, and that's it. So I don't know even who was here. That's how it is at Colorado. You get all these celebrities, different people here. It's like, I don't even know they're there. I'm so focused.
Well, I knew they were there when we came here last year and we did the game against Colorado State. And I was standing down on the sideline going, is there a football game going on, or is this a concert? What is this down here? Because it was so tight. There's so many people.
Yeah.
What was that? Let me ask you this then. This leads me to this question. That environment.
Yeah.
Describe what it was like playing in that environment, and how even that, where there's so many eyes, so many cameras, so many people just wanting that are interested in football that maybe weren't interested before, how that kind of helps you, and how did you embrace all that?
Well, I would say I grew up with cameras. I grew up with a lot of eyes on me. So everything in life, this is the same thing over and over. So it's just going to the next level. We was at high school.
Yeah.
With negativity there. Okay, we private school, whatever. We went to HBCU, negativity. We went to Power 5, did it, negativity. So truthfully, it's just like the same thing over and over. And I know life runs its course and everything is a cycle in life. So I just find ways to just get sharper each and every year.
Right.
There you have it. Shedeur Sanders again, just fresh off of his throw.
So there you have it. So that's a little taste of Shedeur Sanders. What I want to focus on this morning is the Cowboys. We've heard Brian Schottenheimer talk about wanting to be more balanced on offense and being able to run the football more. And I was going through and seeing, I was curious because I know Terrence Steele is like an enigma. Terrence Steele is literally polar opposites, because Terrence Steele, when we look at his Pro Football Focus grades, it's insane the difference of it, okay? Literally, he is a top 13, I should say, run blocker in the NFL rating per Pro Football Focus. Top 13. Pass blocking, 90th. It's crazy. So overall, he rates out at a 67. You know, it's just, you don't normally see a guy that has that much variance in what they do. And when I started thinking about that, I started wondering, how is everybody else as far as run blocking? Now, as an offensive lineman, if you're an offensive lineman, you would rather run block than pass block, or at least most people do. Reason being is, when you run block, there's less to think about. Generally, you have a guy or a spot that you are working on. You're more aggressive, okay? I'll equate it this way. Running the football is offensive. You are going on the charge. You are literally taking the fight to the other man. You're going to put more weight on your fingers because you're firing out, or unless it's like a draw where you're going to fake pass block and then pull. But generally speaking, it is, I'm going to try and push this guy at the point of attack out the hole. Or I'm going to cut block, or I'm going to double team. I'm going to end up hitting the hip off of the double team, and I'm going to the second level trying to get the linebacker, okay? Pass blocking is the polar opposite. Instead of driving, instead of going forward, you are standing up and taking a step back. It's more defensive completely, because now I'm setting up, I'm trying to see what the defensive lineman doing. The defensive lineman is now the aggressor. He's coming in to engage me and make his moves. Now I have to be able to counter it. I've got to be able to get my hands on him and keep him away from me, keep my balance, don't get twisted up. You know, when he kind of jab steps and rips, he's going one side to the other. I've got to be able to counter it. If he's swimming and he's giving me a small target, I've got to be able to recover and shuffle my feet. It's harder to pass block than it is to run block. And if you are always pass blocking, it's difficult, of course, because the defense knows we're going to pin our ears back. Okay, we're going to get aerodynamic. We're going to try and set up all our different moves. We're going to bull rush this time. We're going to do some stunts, you know, some X stunts and things. We're going to get the tackle going out and the end going in, you know. So now they got to pass the guy off. It's hard. And when you become one-dimensional, much like the Dallas Cowboys have been, then it's harder when you're passing. You're going to get more pressure. And especially when you have somebody who is so good at run blocking, to constantly use him more pass blocking. We typically, you know, in an average game, you have somewhere between about 60 and 70 plays. How many times have you seen the Cowboys throwing more than 40 passes in a game? A lot. A lot. So now you're taking Terrence Steele with the worst thing he does, and you're using it the most. And this may be one of the reasons why they also want to get back to run blocking, because he'll be more effective. Because if they do run, and I've said this a couple times, if you do run the football more and you leave that doubt on whether it's a run or a pass, where it could go either way, then the defensive end can't be as aggressive. But I started looking through at our current offensive linemen, and there's a pattern here, because like I was pointing out here, let me flip the camera right here. You can see Terrence Steele rates out as 67, 47th among tackles. Now, you got to look at it and say there's 2 tackles that are starters on the team, so that's 64. So as overall grade, he's not one of the top 25 overall. But here's where it's crazy because, like I said, he's 90th at pass blocking. That's below average. Yet, he's 78 at run blocking. One of the better run blocking tackles, in which case you need to use him. Let's look at, say, Brock Hoffman. Brock Hoffman, overall grade, a 66.3, okay? 44th. Again, he's kind of a little bit below average, but he's only got a few starts under his belt. He's a better pass blocker at 62.1, which puts him 69th as opposed to 90th, okay? He's a little bit better as a pass blocker than Terrence Steele. He's not as good as a run blocker, but he's 37th. So 37, when you figure that there are, of course, 64 starting offensive guards, he's middle of the road. Still not elite, not one of the best, but again, a slightly better run blocker than pass blocker. Cooper Beebe. We've got a pattern here. Now, Cooper Beebe, it's interesting, as a rookie, he rated out 21st. You want him to be better than 21st, but clearly that's a lot better than where you are at some of the positions. He rates out at a 65. Now, pass blocking, 43rd. Not great, okay? And not great of 64. But run blocking, again, 25th. Not elite. It's a little bit below average because you only have one starting center on a team, but he is clearly better run blocking than he is pass blocking. And as a rookie, those are really good numbers. Tyler Smith, he's the only elite guy that we have on here. Overall, he rates out at 22nd, top half of guards. And pass blocking wise, he's the only one, I believe, who is, well, no, I'm sorry. He's not. Surprisingly, he's not. Pass blocking wise, he's a 76. He is 14th out of 135. Clearly elite pass blocker. And run blocking grade, he's 21st. So they rated him out as the 22nd best guard in football. I think he's a little bit better than that, but you still look at him and say he's great. Now, here's where the problem comes in for the Cowboys is the weak spot. The weakest of the weak, which is the worst spot to have a weakness, is your left tackle. Overall, he rated out at a 49.4, 116 out of 141. That ain't good, bro. His pass blocking, surprisingly, was better than his run blocking. He was actually a 60.2. But still, that's 81 out of 141. His run blocking, 117 of 141. And also, I'll put in there, I believe he had more penalties than any other offensive lineman. So there's that. The thing with Tyler Guyton is I think he does need more experience. And here's the thing for Tyler Smith you have to think about is Tyler Smith may end up being your starting left tackle. It may end up being there because you cannot have numbers. You cannot have your weakest link at left tackle. You will literally get your quarterback killed. Now, Tyler Guyton has been working out a lot. He's going to be working with Duke Merriweather, trying to get himself together, get himself stronger and things like that. And it may be one of those situations where, we look at Terrence Steele, his rookie year where it was during COVID. So you, first of all, didn't have like a full off season, a regular one. And they thought La'el Collins was going to be the starter. La'el Collins then can't play because of the hip. And you now have Terrence Steele starting at right tackle, who didn't think he was going to see the field. And he was awful his rookie year. His second year, he took the second-year leap and became really, really good. And the next 2 years played well enough that he got an $80 million contract. Hopefully, the Cowboys being more balanced, and this is what I say, Jalen Hurts was very efficient. And it was because his arm didn't get thrown out. When you average 21 passes a game, and defenses are so worried about you stopping the run, then the advantage goes to the quarterback. The advantage goes to the offensive line because defenses are constantly trying to put 8 men in the box. They're trying to make sure they hold their gap assignments. Their defense is now playing defense as opposed to pass rushing, which is more aggressive. And that will definitely help the Cowboys more, and it will help Dak Prescott stay upright. And the great thing, at least with Dak Prescott right now, is we still have 4 months. We've seen clips of him running on the field, which I think he may be further ahead than what some of the talking heads had thought because, we've heard some of them saying he may not be ready to start the season. Being able to start the season and being 100% are two different things. But having 4 more months of time to start working, seeing him actually out on the field running around right now is good, knowing that in another week and a half, we're going to be beginning OTAs and he'll be there and be working on getting himself together. Unlike a lot of people who think that the Cowboys are done and it's just going to be bad, I don't see how you can honestly look at the Cowboys that had everything wrong, that they had second most amount of injuries in the NFL and say that if they stay healthier, won't be better than where they were last year. Let's go back as we get ready to get out of here to the checklist that was out about 5 or 6 weeks ago and see how the Cowboys are doing on it.
Game called If I Were. So, Jeff Darlington, if you were Matthew Stafford.
I went back too far. Hold on. Let's see. My apologies, people. Let's get to the Cowboys. Or maybe not. Okay, here we go.
Arlington, we're going to play a game called Would You Believe, D. Woody. You ready?
Yeah.
Would you believe?
Would you believe?
Cap space means the Cowboys make a huge move.
I would not believe that because that's never been Jerry Joe's MO. As far as, signing out and signing a bunch of free agents, that's never been Jerry's thing. It's all been about draft and develop. Now, I would say that as far as big moves, signing Micah Parsons to a new deal would constitute as a big move for the Cowboys. But as far as going out and spending outside of that, that's just never been Jerry Jones' thing.
Well, his thing has been signing guys a little bit too late. We'll see how he operates in the Micah Parsons situation this offseason. Okay, would you believe?
Did I get the wrong? My apologies, people, because I got the wrong clip. Oh, here we go.
Decision. Martin was a 9-time Pro Bowler selection in 11 years with the Cowboys and first-team All-Pro.
This is what you get from Broadcast Media.
7 times, which puts him in some elite company with the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys lost one key player, but good news, salary cap expanding next season, of which Micah Parsons gave us the LFG when he quote tweeted our Dan Graziano. The cap will have increased by more than $53 million over the next 2 years. Okay, so we're going to play a game with Bill Barnwell, Fit the Bill. You're going to give us a 5-step plan for the Dallas Cowboys to fix them. I'm impressed you can do it in 5 steps. So fit the bill, starting with 1. Bill Barnwell, take it away.
Number 1, we are re-signing Micah Parsons. This one is easy. He's one of the best defensive players in football.
Is it really easy?
And we're actually going to reduce his cap hit from $24 million on his 5th-year option when we do re-sign Micah Parsons. You're starting there on the defense. Obviously, it's going to get a big contract, but you want to keep your stars around. Dak, CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons are your 3 stars on the defensive side of the football. Number 2, we are moving to add some salary cap space here. We're going to restructure Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. This is going to create,
so we got
an exaggeration,
1 out of 2.
This is going to create $60 million in cap space for the Cowboys. Those guys
Which
are
they did.
sticking around.
They
They're
did.
your core. Whether Cowboys fans like
And they've
it or
spent
not,
23
Dak
of them.
Prescott's going to be there for years to come. Add the Micah Parsons restructure. We're looking at probably $65 million in cap space. That's a lot of money to work with, and we're going to need it for steps 3, 4, and 5 in this plan. Step 3 for the Cowboys. We are adding help at receiver. All the moves they've made have not worked.
So we got 1 out of 3 so far.
CeeDee Lamb was taken in the
But we've
first round.
talked about
Their
it.
moves with the veterans. They moved on from Amari Cooper. They traded, or they got rid of a bunch of Brandon Cooks traded for. They got Michael Gallup and re-signed him. That didn't work. Adding a Deebo Samuel to the mix gives a big body, physicality the Cowboys have not had in their offense in several years. He's tormented the Cowboys himself. Deebo Samuel would be a great addition as the number 2, not the number 1, but the number 2 next to CeeDee Lamb. Number 4, the offensive line needs to be replenished now, especially after Zach Martin was retired.
So we've done one
running
so
back,
far.
I know when Cowboys want to add a guy, maybe they draft someone. Rico Dowdle's been good, 12th in rushing yards, 4.6 yards per carry last year. But there's a big hole in offensive line, which is 27th in spending and cash next year. I would look at Trey Smith, that star Chiefs guard. A plug-and-play replacement for Zach Martin, a big body, a great run blocker in the interior. Cowboys teams have always been good when they have good offensive lines. And then you flip it. Number 5, this is not the sexiest option, but we're looking at the defensive line and that defensive tackle rotation. We're looking at pieces here who are going to help us in short yardage. Last year, the Cowboys were not just the worst red zone defense in football, they were the 4th worst red zone defense of the last decade. That's what happens when you cannot stop the run in short yardage. These are not going to be big names. You're looking at guys like Poona Ford from the Chargers, guys who are going to be big bodies, occasionally make plays on the passing game, but who are going to hold up against the run, the Morgan Foxes of the world. Build that depth, build that defensive line, and get the Cowboys strong on the line of scrimmage to help get them back to where they were at their peak.
There you go.
Oh, that's it?
So
5 steps.
we've done one of his steps so
Just
far.
pick the Cowboys.
One of the steps, but I don't think that the cake is baked completely here. I think that, I think I've got an idea what the Cowboys may be thinking as far as the draft goes. You have to get that number 2 playmaker probably in the draft, or you go for Keenan Allen after the draft, or you make a trade for a big trade during the draft, but you're going to have to get that number 2 wide receiver, and you definitely have to get that running back and some work on the defense as well. And I'm going to give you my take on that coming up soon, but this video has gotten to be a little bit on the long side. But as always, good people, I appreciate each and every one of you guys, and we'll see you today at 5 o'clock Eastern. Peace out.